the streets have really embraced me on this one. You have somebody like Lefty Gunplay coming off the 4-yard and putting his chest out, and now it's embraced, right? But somebody had to catch the bullets first. Somebody had to make it comfortable. The other side doesn't have a voice like me, dog. You know, you gotta understand, dog, like, I did get signed to a major record deal in 2005 when I was at the prime of my gangbanging. And I did go to prison for 10 years.
Is that for Jenny 69? Is that for 69?
No, yeah, it was for 69. It was for that female, you know what I mean? And when I walked in, I noticed everybody at that location look at me a certain way. Like, Bozo's in this bitch.
Yeah.
Because I know they've had a lot of artists in there that hated me and I know that they've heard tracks directed to me, and I know that place was a melting pot for a lot of negativity towards me, right?
Yeah. What's poppin'? It's your boy Moses, aka Nomo, chilling right here inside the Lit Outlet Podcast. I got a very special guest in the building. I got Mr.
Bozo, Southside Logo.
That's right. Just dropped one of the hottest albums out right now. Right before the summer, I think right on time, right?
Yeah.
You got some really good bangers on there. Definitely want to talk about the album right away. But first and foremost, what's poppin'? It's your boy Moses. The best way to support the channel is to like, comment, subscribe on every episode. Don't forget the reels on Instagram. Don't forget the shorts on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and comment on everything you see from the Lit Outlet. Also, another big major way you can support the channel is to join our Patreon. The link is down below in the description. You keep the channel alive by pledging $1 every month. You can also do $3, $5, $10, $20. But all I'm asking, if you're a Liddy and you're enjoying the content, to at least join our Patreon for $1 a month. Another way you can support the channel is to buy some merch. We got hoodies for $40 and we got t-shirts with this logo for $25. If you want to support the channel, those are the best ways. But also, if you want to just keep enjoying the content for free, you can do that too. I don't mind. So I want to say thank you to all of our Liddies who are watching, liking, subscribing to all of our content here. Now let's get back to the show.
This episode is sponsored by Pio's Picos Tacos, located on 3410 Ontario Ranch Road, Suite 2 in the city of Ontario, California. Open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 9 p.m. Embark on a flavor-filled journey at Pio Picos Tacos. Founded by SoCal native George Tamayo, their commitment to quality and authenticity shines through every dish. From mesquite grilled meats to house-infused flavors, their menu is a celebration of family recipe. Remember, savor the flavor at Pio Picos Tacos, where every bite is a taste of tradition. I had the pleasure of actually going to Pio's Picos Tacos right after UrbanCon. Me and the cameraman Jackson, man, we showed up. I ordered a burrito. We got some great food. The service was amazing. The food was incredible. I highly recommend checking out Pio Picos Tacos in the city of Ontario. Make sure you guys give them a follow. Check them out. Real delicious food. Now let's get back to the show.
I think it's important to explain the name of the album.
Southside Logo, we've never really had a face, you know, that can carry that responsibility, you know. I think that, you know, the merit that I've acquired through my life is valid of that title. And I'm the type of individual that I won't allow myself, my ego to get so big that I don't check in before calling myself that. You know what I'm saying? So I've checked in with everybody that I have to, including my family, you know what I'm saying, which is the most important. But I think that a representation of the South Side is not only the street side of it, but the family side of it, and also the business side of it. You know what I mean? I think that I check off every box on that list, you know, when it comes to that, you know?
You know what's the trippy part? Because at this point, it's been like a couple weeks since the album dropped, right?
Yeah.
And typically when someone makes a self-proclaimed claim like that, the peanut gallery will go crazy.
Yeah.
No one has said a fucking word.
They can't.
They're letting you fucking rock with it. So I think that kind of speaks for itself,
well,
right?
the energy shifted, you know, and I felt it. I've noticed it. You know what I mean? You know, I have a big intuition, you know, from my life, right? Like you live on a fight or flight, and you live on instinct. So I've developed a heavy intuition, and the energy for sure has lifted. Like people stop judging me for my exterior and for the way I speak. Like I think that people have allowed to put their ego down for a minute and listen. You know what I mean? And really listen to my message. And the streets have really embraced me on this one. And it's huge, dog. You know, like I even got my own timepiece now. You know what I mean? Like custom BAM watch. Like, so I've noticed a lot of love, man. And it's great because it's been hard. You know, being a contrarian and speaking the truth doesn't always come off kind. You know what I'm saying? So for people to finally have an open heart to what I'm saying, man, is like, it's everything, you know?
Yeah. The album has 13 songs.
Yeah.
Okay. Is 13 an important number for you?
Yes, of course. Well, it's the representation of everything, you know what I mean? Our culture, I was born on the 13th, you know what I'm saying? So it's a huge amount of things, you know what I mean? I can go into it, but yeah, the everything's premeditated, you know, and it had to be symbolic, the album, you know?
Yeah. Things work out crazy sometimes as far as timing,
Yeah.
You drop the album, a few days later, there's a music video.
Yeah.
With some dissing going on.
Yeah.
I didn't see the music video until I saw you post laughing.
Yeah.
So why were you laughing so hard in the video? What
Yeah,
happened?
because it like you said, it's almost like I couldn't have planned it better, you know? It's like, it's one of the things that like just brings more validation to your message, you know? It's almost like proof, you know what I'm saying? It's like proof of like, you see what I mean? You know what I mean? It's so organic, you know what I mean? In a funny way, but man, it's great, man. Even that diss track was like just further validation of, see, I told you guys these motherfuckers are idiots, you know what I'm saying? and just who those people are and what they represent, you know what I mean? It's funny, but it's validating, you know what I'm saying? I just couldn't help but to laugh, man, you know, like things work out mysteriously, man, but God's timing is perfect. You know?
What do you think in their best thought, in their clearest thought, what they were thinking? Like they thought they were going to take the shine from your album?
Well, that goes back to narcissism, you know? Somebody with narcissistic characteristics doesn't even consider the greatness of somebody else, you know? There is no greatness in nobody else, you know? Nobody else is as big as them and as great as them. So there's always, you'll notice that the biggest politicians or even celebrities or whatever famous people that fall, it's because of their narcissism, dog, and the way that they are blind to reason and just common sense, you know? And you couldn't compliment me more or my project more by dropping a diss track with a fucking documented snitch and the idiot that just dropped a fucking article on the LA Times that literally proved everything I said. Like, if there was ever any doubt of anything, you know how there was a lot of questions. Oh, did this really happen to him? Oh, word is this and that? Allegedly. Bitch, it ain't allegedly no more. Like, the shit's on the LA Times, and the man has come out to say, I am not a gangster. This is a fucking character that I've created for music sales and for social media.
What are we talking about?
Okay. You know the article on the LA Times about... Oh, you got to check it out, man.
I didn't see it.
It's basically the same thing that gangsters do in prison when they debrief, you know? When you debrief in prison, you so there's only one way that the state of California will protect you, you know? And give you special needs, which means protection, right? You got to sit down with somebody, an officer, and debrief, you know what I mean? And this guy in that article basically debriefed, saying like, you know what, I'm not about that life, man. I've just been doing this as a character to do numbers and entertain people on social media. He says, this is my product. Drama is my product, you know? And for us in our culture, it's like, wait a minute, you a clown, man. That takes away all the merit of all that shit you've been talking, you know what I'm saying? And they even cleared up the speculations of him getting stabbed in LA County Jail. You know what I'm saying? And they go further into it, which I'll let you read because I don't really want to talk about all that on camera, but it's a pretty in-depth fucking article, dog. And it goes deep into like where the youth is at right now, you know what I'm saying? And I think that article, you know, serves as a big message to the youth, you know? Like, be careful who you idolize. You know what I'm saying? There's only one person that you should idolize, and that's God. You know what I'm saying? That's the only idol you should ever have. To idolize these motherfucking humans is wrong, dog. Humans will always fail you. You can't worship motherfuckers, you know, because they will fail you. And I think that's another beautiful thing that happened while my album dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because even in the opening intro, you know, Free Bliss is talking about merit, and he's talking about the real consequences that come with this lifestyle and how you got to pay the price for everything you fucking do the hard way. We're not glorifying this lifestyle. We're giving you documentation of it. And yes, it sounds like glorification because we're men, right? But you got to understand, dog, like the youth isn't inspired by weenies, dog. When I was in the juvenile halls and these fucking washed up gang members that had turned Christian came in to give me speeches, I just wanted to turn up even further more. I was like, fuck no, I don't want to be this pussy ass fool when I get older. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no place in the Bible where it says a man should be weak. It talks about being humble, but not weak, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's important for the youth to have a strong fucking God-fearing man, you know what I'm saying? Family man with the past of a demon, for, you know what I'm saying? For instance, you know what I'm saying? So, because the homies don't worship shit that's weak, dog. But that's just not how men are built. And I think that that's been a lost art. Leadership is very important, homie. You know what I'm saying? You got to inspire, but you got to stroke each other's ego while you're inspiring each other. Because men thrive off what? Respect. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not respected, dog, it's not even acknowledged.
I feel like, you know, the culture as far as Chicano, especially in LA, or Hispanics in general in America, is kind of like becoming its real own nation where soldiers and people are coming together. And as that happens, you know, the people who are narcissists and also people who are real leaders see the opportunity in becoming the leader of a new army. Right?
Yes.
But when that happens, you know, I feel like the weak will kind of filter themselves out. And eventually the people will pick a champion, right?
Yeah.
To lead them right.
Well, that's what's been going on, is a purification of that shit. You know, like when I came home, dog, that was the biggest reason I was judged for, was like I was talking too much shit. I was too turned up, fresh out of prison, and that was like, that was almost my bravado, the way that people soaked it in, was like, oh, this fool just thinks he's a tough guy. But look, fast forward now, you have somebody like Lefty Gunplay coming off the 4-yard and putting his chest out, and now it's embraced, right? But somebody had to catch the bullets first. Somebody had to make it comfortable, right? And so it makes me proud too to be able to do that for a fellow peer of mine. You feel what I'm saying? Even though he's younger, he's of my circle, dog. He's who I grew up with. Individuals like him, you know too, my boy. Come on, we're no stranger to Lefty.
Yeah.
The industry is, right, and the society is around us. But man, that's the homie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the homie, dog. We all got a Lefty at the crib, dog. We all got a Lefty in the hood.
It's canon, huh?
And who would have thought? Who would have thought that that's what the industry wanted?
Yeah.
You know, we thought we had to adapt, saying the N-word and dressing like them. And lo and behold, homie comes from the fucking 4-yard, the Bay, talking his Chicano shit, and he's on. You know what I'm saying? But look at King Lil G before that. King did the same thing. He just wasn't as outspoken and as animated as the homie is. Because he's a different type of homie that we grew up with. We all got a king in the hood too.
Quiet homie.
You know what I'm saying? A fly ass, pulls all the bitches, fucking, you know what I mean? We all got that guy. So it's beautiful to see the different sides of the culture, but dog, for me, dog, it's fucking beautiful, dog. Cause I've been through the ups and downs of this Chicano movement, you know, from 05 when I got signed, you know? Like I tell my homies all the time, like everybody's judging the homie for being himself. Damn, I'm thankful they didn't have social media and fucking YouTube. And we would get on stage and forget our lyrics. We were so high. We would miss flights. You know, we'd tear up motel rooms. You know what I mean? So like, damn, thank God they didn't have social media, because what the fuck would they said about us? Yeah. You know what I mean? And for old heads now, like fools that were in my generation talking a certain way about the homie, man, cut it the fuck out, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop it, dog. Like you fools have no room to say shit, dog, and don't make me put you on blast, you know? Because I was around for all that shit. So, yeah, dog, it's a beautiful thing, and it is, and it has been the purification of the game. And like I said, I was trying to get to that point when they had their last interview on Hood Stocks, was like, dog, when the Chicano rap game first started, dog, it was only people that had money and access to those tools to make music that were coming up, right? Hood babies didn't have that. But this new technology, YouTube, digital distribution through CD Baby and all that shit, that has allowed these real motherfuckers, the fucking real dudes from the streets, to have a voice and a presence, you know what I'm saying? So it's the freedom that we've gained with technology that has allowed homies to blow the fuck up, you know what I mean? Real ones, you know? And I'm enjoying the ride, dog. Cause lucky for me, they fuck with me, eh? You know, lucky for me, like those younger dudes, like they see me like an uncle, dog. They have an uncle like me in their house too. They're no stranger to the way I move and talk. They're like, hell yeah, that's Theo right there. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, they want to hear me speak, dog, and they lean on me for certain things. And I take that responsibility fucking huge, bro, you know? And I tried that with individuals like, but thought he was too good for advice, dog. I told him, keep your shirt on, boy, work out, build yourself up so you look like a man. But what I was trying to tell him was give yourself discipline, but he didn't want to hear it. You know what I mean? When he was hugging fools that were calling him a bitch, and I told him like, boy, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? He didn't want to hear it. I was too high power. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about high power. It's about carrying yourself like a man, dog. You're coming off thirsty. And you know, and just like that cheetah at the lake, dog, thirsty as fuck, trying to drink out the wrong pond. got snatched up by the gators, homie. And that's how it goes. The thirst will betray you. And that's the beautiful message of what's going on right now, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy that you put Free Bliss to start off the album, because I interviewed him maybe like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And all he could talk about, because he's only been out for like maybe less than a year, was you. How much
man,
you're his favorite artist, how you love this song and that song. And we you know, you're also one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
So we started talking about the same things. And then I hear him on the album, which is like, to me, you could tell that he's excited and he loved.
Oh, yeah, man.
How did you set that up? How did you find out he was such a big fan?
I didn't. I was a fan of his. I'm going to be completely honest. He never really reposted me or shared my shit before that, you know? And I get it why, because dudes of his era and his generation, you know, they're very careful of who they compliment, because we know about the male ego, you know what I'm saying? And we know that rappers out here sometimes be feeling themselves a little too much, you know? So I could see why he was like, you know, a little abrasive to do that, you know what I'm saying? But I saw his interviews and I just looked into his history and I did a little, you know, background checking on my own, because I do that, you know? And I just reached out to him, dog. I just reached out to him just out of nowhere, basically. I hit his DM and he was like super open to it. I brought him to the studio to rock with me and hear the album before I dropped it. And the way the album hit him, you know what I'm saying, before anybody heard it, was gratifying for me, you know? Because it tells me a lot, dog. It tells me that I'm doing the right things and I'm staying true to myself is paying off, you know? So it was dope to give him that. I want to say it's good to put homies on a pedestal when you can, you know? I don't think that we should ever lose our innocence to the point that where we can't fucking glorify each other, dog, you know? Like when you're young, fool, and you're in high school, you're proudest about who you're hanging with. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really like the cool kids are important to hang with, you know what I'm saying? And if you have a homeboy that has hands, you brag about him. You know what I'm saying? If you have a shooter homie, you brag about him too. When you got the homie that pulls all the bitches, you brag about him too. So, you know, I like to keep my innocence when it comes to music, you know what I'm saying? And I just did that out of my heart, honestly.
Sporting some new ink today.
Yeah.
What does the tattoo say?
Blue Jay, the homie, he's a young artist out of Orange County, Santa Ana, I believe he grew up in. He reached out to me like months ago, dog, and I just been so busy, I didn't really have a chance to tap in with him. So I finally had an opportunity to tap in with him, which was like a couple weeks ago. And I always wanted just my family, you know. They say you wear your heart on your sleeve, right? So my family is my heart, you know what I mean? So I finished up my sleeve with Emiliano, Vicente, Ariana, Angel, and Maria, which is my wife, you know, on my arms. And I don't know, I just think it's fly as shit, you know what I mean? Because it's also, if you've been to prison, you'll see the dudes with the most stripes, like the sergeants and captains. That's how their stripes are laid, at an angle. You know what I mean? And every stripe, I believe, is 2 years, you know? And you'll see them like with 10 of them and you're like, oh shit, dude's been out here 20 years on the field, you know what I mean? So to me, like the way that it lined up was perfect. And to me, all my children are my biggest stripe, you know, that I can claim, you know what I mean, as a man, you know what I mean?
At this point, do you have more prison tattoos or do you have more like outside tattoos?
Way more prison tattoos.
Yeah?
Yeah, hell yeah. I got ones I can't even show on camera or talk about, you know?
Okay.
But I got a lot.
That's right.
Yeah, but yeah.
How do you feel seeing someone like Lefty blow up so quickly?
I think that, you know, he's materialized my vision, you know? Like I've said it before in interviews, it ain't gonna take more than 5 years for a homie to go up. You know what I mean? And I think that it's a beautiful thing to see him go up faster and more aggressively than even dudes from Texas, you know? Because I see, you know, the Mexican OT, yeah, he's blowing up, you know what I mean? And he's doing his thing, but he's more of a, I guess, humble guy. You know, he's more humble in the way that he carries himself. And I think that Lefty is just raw, you know what I mean? He's raw, and he's a representation of the my homies that he left on the 4-yard. Like all the kids that he mentions, not kids because they're grown men now, but my younger homies that I grew up with, that he left on the yard, he's exactly like them, man, you know? The way they move, their mannerisms, the way they talk, like he's a representation of the gunners, dog, and the fools that are still on the yard that don't have a face. You know, he's giving them a face from the ink, everything. You know, to me, it's a beautiful thing, dog. Like those are the guys that I left on the yard, and I have survivor's remorse for to this day. You know, like I often ask myself, like, damn, I wonder where the homie's at. Like, how's he doing now? You know what I'm saying? So it's proud for me because I talk that Southside shit. you know, and I've been carrying that sureño shit on my own for a minute. Like really carrying it in the industry with blacks. You gotta understand, like, I'm the first sureño that RJ ever worked with, G Perico ever worked with, Compton AD ever worked with, Joe Moses ever worked with. That's a fact, you know what I mean? Yeah, they work with Mexican rappers before me, but not a sureño. That's a different level, you know what I'm saying? So to see Lefty blow up, it's I'm living through him. You know how fools say, I'm living through my kids. He's not my kid, but to me, like, I'm living through him, and watching him is just, it's exciting me to the point where I was able to write Southside Logo. Dog, I wrote Southside Logo in a month. It didn't take me no 2 months. I wrote that whole album in a month because him, Rowdy Rax, and even those guys from Texas and all them put a fire into my ass. You know what I mean? Like, man, I'm not gonna miss this wave. And ain't no fool my generation can keep up with these guys, eh? Or be as fly with them. You know what I mean? Or look right with them, sit with them at the table. I could sit with these dudes, dog. I can, homie. Like, hands fucking down, you know? And that's a huge accomplishment for myself. You know what I mean? Like, nobody of my era can do that with these guys, eh?
You know, you have the Laker tattoo.
Yeah.
You have the Kobe's on. I know you're a big Kobe fan. You have the Kobe song, right? And one of the things that Kobe was known for was, like, every offseason, we'll practice and learn a new move.
Yeah.
Because when I was listening to your album, what happened after a few times, once you go through it, it'll play something from really old that's yours.
Yeah.
And then you can really tell the big difference in, like, even like your vocals, as far as like how you're, like, you know, trying to be loud, or like, the way you use your voice and stuff like that. This is like the most polished I've ever seen you as far as making.
Well, I've been in the gym.
records.
I've been in the gym.
And I think it shows, right?
Yeah, and it shows, like, you know, when they say, you know, dog, I titled the song for a reason, you know, like, because I think that I showed every different style that's available out here right now. You know, from harmonizing to the slow flow to fucking the aggressive shit. My production is East Coast. You know what I mean? Homie from Maryland, you know, low profile, produced it all. And then, well, not all, but a couple songs were done by Project Made. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, I did study footwork, you know, and I did practice my jump shot, and I did put my coach hat on, you know what I mean? So when I dropped the song Kobe, it was an embodiment of a lot of shit. And if you notice the skit at the beginning, job's not finished, the job's not finished. The job's never finished, right? When you have purpose, like, the job's never finished, dog. You know what I mean? Like, the road never ends when you have purpose, you know what I mean? Because another reason for you to keep going will arise, you know? But yeah, shout out to the homies for inspiring me, you know, like the youngins, you know? The young upcoming artists, man. They really did inspire me.
Definitely want to go over some lines you have in the album that stood out to me. No blogger speaks for me line, the Fuck 'em All song.
Yeah, like, a lot of bloggers are feeling themselves, you know? We're feeling themselves, and we're talking heavy, like, on North and South business, and you know, speaking up on shit that we shouldn't be speaking on, you know? Especially bloggers that are of an era that isn't presently active, you know what I'm saying? They need, look, there's an art form to being a big homie, you know what I'm saying? You speak on your experiences, and you let the youngsters do their thing, eh? You know what I mean? And all you can do is help them navigate, but to tell them how to feel about their enemies or their opposition is not your place, dog, because you're not fighting the wars with them in the first fucking place. So how in the fuck are you telling the homies how to move, you know? And how to feel about certain ways. And to me, dog, like, peace is never going to be acquired by humans, bro. That's just not in our ability. You know, we're not capable of that. You know what I'm saying? The best thing to gain from conflict and opposition is the need to get better, stronger, and sharper. You know what I'm saying? So to me, like, they want to call it a war, whatever they want to call it, fuck it. It's necessary for both sides. You know what I mean? We're never going to hold hands and be kumbaya together, you know? And we shouldn't. Fuck it. It is what it is. This started before us. And I don't really give a fuck how it started. You know what I mean? All I know is that I'm holding court for my side, and I'm going to represent my side to the fullest, dog. You know what I mean? And I'm going to always boast and brag that my side has been winning and will continue to win, you know? So bloggers need to shut the fuck up with that. You know what I mean? Because they ain't repping, fool. They're not repping. I mean, not how we are in the music game or in the streets, you know? Like, they're not repping like that. They're supposed to be journalists, right? Documenting certain things, not trying to push their agendas. Like, cut it out, you know?
Yeah, I think for one of the first songs you have, one of the first lines you have is something about 6ix9ine. Is that for Jenny 6ix9ine? Is that for 6ix9ine?
No, yeah, it was for 69. It was for that female, you know what I mean? And look, dog, I don't know her personally, right? I'm only giving my opinion from what she's delivered to me in my timeline and on the platforms that I open up. So if I'm wrong about her and she's just a character of how she acts, so be it, right? But I'm gonna speak on how she presents herself. She presents herself as a female that has no loyalty. You know, she doesn't come across on her social media page on IG like she's a loyal wife, you know, like she's a nurturing mother, you know what I'm saying? So I can't respect her as such, right? I can only respect her as a female that is for the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly who she is, you know? She's a female that's for the world. She has no loyalty to anything or anybody. So like the number 69, it goes both ways, right? And she couldn't have named herself Jenny 69 any more perfect because it describes exactly who she is. Like you'll see her in the video boosting the ego of a northerner one day and then try to be in Riverside with all the homies in the back, you know what I'm saying? But, and hey, that's her business. She's not, you know, I don't expect a female to hold it down like that, right? It's not, they're not fighting the wars. They're not representing or waving a flag. So it's cool. But I do have the right and the ability to point it out. You know what I'm saying? So I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a song called Even the Score.
Yeah.
One of the best songs.
Yeah.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah.
Who's that about?
You know, for every homie of mine that's passed away, you know what I'm saying, that lost his life, banging my hood, shit, I'll never forget that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, whether I'm out on the streets shooting at motherfuckers for them anymore, I'm still keeping them alive through what I do now. You know what I'm saying? Like if they think they're forgotten, they'll never be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still trying to even the score as of now by getting rich and being successful and hopefully being able to look out for their kids. You know what I'm saying? And molding their kids right. You know.
Another line says, "You don't work, you don't speak. Burners for the earners."
Yeah, in the household, it's hard for a man to speak if he don't work. You know what I'm saying? I think that women, you know, these days are so independent that they've earned the ability to tell a motherfucker when he's not earning. You know what I mean? And when that happens, dog, a man loses his respect in his home or his family or in his community, right? And that lack of respect is our failure right now. You know what I'm saying? Like men need to grasp and understand that they need to earn to speak. You know what I mean? They need to speak with actions, not so much verbally. You know what I mean? It's your actions, it's your sacrifice, it's your blood, sweat, and tears, your determination, and your ability to provide and protect that gives you that loudest voice in any circle you're in. You know?
Stay out the way, getting old and weak.
Yeah, that's what they try to tell me in the comments. You know, that's what all the mainly the other side, right? They're in my shit heavy. You know, they make fucking blogs about me. They create content based on me, and that's all they try to feed into my head is that I'm getting old and I'm getting weak. But damn, when I look in the mirror, I look good as fuck and I look strong, dog. You know, so I laugh at that shit and it fuels me further. Like them fools don't get it, dog. You know, you shouldn't talk down on a person like me, dog. You're just gonna fucking light a fire under my ass that you won't be able to contain, boy. Like I'm an unstoppable force when I feel insulted or underestimated. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to myself because I need that, You know, I need to remind myself that motherfuckers don't want the youth under me to have a representation like what I'm doing right now and how I'm doing it. You know what I mean? And I've always said it, the other side doesn't have a voice like me, dog. You know, you gotta understand, dog, like I did get signed to a major record deal in 2005 when I was at the prime of my gangbanging. And I did go to prison for 10 years. I didn't ever think about my deal first. I said, fuck it. The hood's first. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to boast and brag now, but I am that guy. You know, and you'll see the other side and dropouts trying to dissect my interviews and call me a pathological liar because I'm not on fucking camera with my paperwork showing them dates and times. Bitch, I don't got to, dog. Fuck is wrong with you, homie? We ain't no debriefing around here. You know what I'm saying? Like the day a Southsider Sureño that was on the yard comes out and says that shit is the day that I'll have to maybe defend myself. But all my cellies that were with me in the hole, that did shooters with me, they still follow me on IG. And sometimes even they tell me, my dog, chill on talking too much. Like, let's not go there. And I'm like, you right, fool. You're absolutely right. You know what I mean? Like, don't go telling them everything. Because they don't want to hear everything. You know what I mean? But that shit, that shit lights a fire under my ass, dog. And I'm a competitive person, you know, by nature. So it is funny to me. And I you know, I say it because, dog, there's something to be said about when somebody uses your your insults as their compliments, you know? And I psychologically I'm built that way, you know, because I've sat in places where, you know, I needed somebody to either adopt me or take custody of me, you know what I mean? And they didn't come, you know? And I use that to fuel me, you know what I mean? I've been places where I've been hungry with nobody to go to for a meal, and I use that to fuel me to go get money, you know what I'm saying? And I've been told that I was gonna parole at a certain date and a certain time, and I was never gonna see the streets again, and I paroled when I got out. You know what I mean? Like, my faith isn't on the critique of humans. My faith stays on the critique of God. You know what I mean? So I move a certain way so that God will bless me, dog, and make the unseen and the unbelievable happen. So when motherfuckers try to speak on me and discredit me, it's like, bitch, I ain't tripping, bro. You know what I mean? I think that the rewards that I reaped speak volumes to the sacrifices that I made, you know, and the changes that I made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's earned. You know what I mean? Not given.
Definitely seeing you in the studio. Shout out to the homie Gallo at the wrecking spot.
Yeah.
How'd you meet Gallo?
I'm doing a feature for Lefty Gunplay right now with me, him, and TC the Loke. Like, it's a single. So I pulled up to the wrecking. You know, it's funny about it's funny about how I ended up there. So I ended up there a night after with Lefty, and when I walked in, I noticed everybody at that location look at me a certain way, like, Bozo's in this bitch.
Yeah.
Because I know they've had a lot of artists in there that hated me and I know that they've heard tracks directed to me, and I know that that place was a melting pot for a lot of negativity towards me, right?
Yeah.
But fast forward presently to now, it's like, this fool was right the whole fucking goddamn time.
So how did it feel
So
walking
when they saw me and I see the way their look and the way they're looking at me, I'm like, yeah, I swear to you, it went down just like that. You can ask the motherfuckers. Well, not the motherfuckers, but the homies, right? Because those are the homies. I don't got nothing against them. Shout out to that studio, right? Everybody there, because everybody there has been nothing but good to me, right? I noticed like a little bit of unexpected, because they didn't know I was gonna go. You know, I pulled up with Lefty, you know, and Lefty happened to be turned up that day, and you know, he had everybody on their toes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He had
So
the world on his toes.
Yeah. So when they saw me with him, they weren't sure if Lefty probably came in here to retaliate on some shit with somebody that, you know, people have spoken so negatively about there. So it was a real surprise, man. But, you know, I am who I am. So I took the opportunity to tell them, to look at all of them and be like, yeah, I'm the one, you know? And I know a lot of opposition has come through here. And they're like, oh, not anymore. And I was like, nah, I'm knowing. And that's not, those aren't my intentions, what I'm saying. I'm just letting you know, like, yeah, I know. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's a little different for you guys, but I'm here, man, and it's all love and respect, you know, and I appreciate you guys opening your doors to me, because nothing is obligated, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have to show me love or embrace me, but you know, they are in whatever way they can, you know. I mean, it's business, don't get me wrong, it's always business, but it feels good to be respected, dog, you know what I mean? And it feels good to be validated, you know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, bro, it's not easy speaking the truth, you know. It's a heavy burden, dog, and at times, you know, you question yourself. Like, is it even fucking worth it? Mm-hmm. You know, it's one of the things where, like, you know, I feel like Moses when he stepped up on the cliff with the 10 Commandments and just fucking threw them at them, man. You know what I mean? Like, out of rage, dog. You know what I'm saying? And I relate, you know, because I've been through that. I've been through that, dog, where I'm up there and I just feel like, man, fuck these dudes, man, and fuck what they talking about, you know? But fast forward, like I said, you know, it's hugely gratifying, you know what I mean, to be in the position that I'm in right now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like that spot, the wrecking spot, has a lot of potential, especially where it's located.
Yeah.
What comes in and out the doors, you know?
Yeah.
It's like downtown and different, like, studios have always been kind of owned or ran by, you know, like black hip hop.
Yeah.
And it feels like that could be a hub for, you know.
Well, as of right now, it is. You know, anybody in our industry that's really made noise has gone through there. You know what I mean? So they need to be proud of that. You know what I'm saying? And they need to protect it, though. You know?
Yeah.
They need to protect that. They can't take it for granted, because I know it's easy to get caught up in the moment and put your guard down and just be like, this is us. Nah, they need to cultivate it, eh? They need to start pushing more positivity out of there. Not just music, you know? They need to create substance. So, you know, individuals like me are needed there. You know what I'm saying? Outspoken ones, you know? Because you do have homies that have been around, right? Like Dopey. Dopey goes there. Young Dopey goes there a lot. He records there a lot. But Young Dopey isn't necessarily... he doesn't communicate the way I do, right? Young Dopey's more of a gentleman. You know what I mean? I respect the way that Dopey moves and the way that he has poise and how he speaks, right? But to me, like, my translation of shit is more needed because these motherfuckers are wild out here, dog. You know, they tend to take kindness for I don't want to say weakness, but for it falls on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that you know, the grit and the bravado does have to be there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's dope to be there too and be spinning that bitch. And like Gallo, like, you do your shit right. You know what I mean?
Dope, huh?
You know what I mean? Yeah, he complimented me like, you know, not to, you know, but you do your shit for, you know, and it's dope, dog. Because who's gonna compliment you more than the guys that are recording everybody and engineer, but that hear
everybody.
everything. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody.
So it's beautiful, dog. It's great. But I'm supposed to be that, right? At my age, I'm supposed to be that, right? Like that's how I'm supposed to carry myself, you know. And you know, I don't undermine anybody. I don't belittle anybody. When I'm working with people, I know that they're there for a reason. You know, I respect that about people. Like, I know that even the guy that opens the door is there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He's opening the door for a reason, dog. Don't underestimate that guy. He's not a doorman. He's more than that, trust me, right?
Facts.
So yeah, so I like to come through, give respect, show respect, and dab everybody up and shake every fucking hand and look everybody in the eye and let them know, like, I'm here to play my part. Not take over nobody's position, you know?
So you were there with Lefty, I believe, the night before, or one of the nights. How did you meet Lefty? How was it working with him?
Well, Lefty reached out to me as soon as he got out, to be honest with you. You know, I have a lot of insight to a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's music or a street, you know what I mean? So, from his history with my homeboys on the yard where he left, you know, I know for a fact they have spoken very highly of me, you know what I mean? Because I love them boys to death and I try to take care of them as much as possible where they're at. So, you know, there's something to be said when you're in the system and fools speak highly of you, you know? And then you get out, you need to understand, how should I say it? We never really, man, what's the word I'm looking for? But unknowingly, we were already building a history together. If you look at my first videos, specifically the first one that he shot for me, Graphic by Nature, which is Black Pair of J's, which is one of my biggest songs, I have his original founders of his neighborhood in my video. You know, like Straps from KHA, shout out my boy Straps, you know, Demon, they're in the video with me and they came to my hood. And in that video, I have nothing but my G's, no younger homies. I only have solidified grown men from my barrio, like my big homies, fools that I answer to, you know what I mean? And fools that have always raised me and groomed me, right? So that video was big for the culture at the time too. When I dropped that shit, we did numbers that a lot of fools weren't doing, you know? And I brought a style to the culture that was different, you know what I mean? I did English and Spanish flow on that track, you know? But like I said, his homies are showcased heavy in the video. And then furthermore, like I grew more of a bond with his homies to where I performed at private parties just for his hood. You feel what I'm saying? And then he's up there with my homies. So somehow, some way, our stars have always been aligned, right? And imagine you're in the joint and you're a rapper with these aspirations and dreams, and the homie that's popping at the time is with your homies, right? Right away it tells you like, oh, boy's with the business, right? Because you know who he's with. Those are your guys. You know what I'm saying? So through the street shit, that creates bonds, man. So, you know, when the homie got out, he reached out to me a few times through the phone and asked me for some insight, and I just gave it to him like I would one of my own. You know what I mean? And he offered even to me back then, we're gonna get one in. You know what I mean? And at the time, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm sure he could vouch. Like the first conversation I told him was this. I told my boy, don't worry about me. I told him, enjoy this moment, fool. You're only gonna get it once, eh? I told him, enjoy this moment, and when you get tired of these grown-ass men riding your dick, you know what I'm saying? We gonna talk. Because I knew it would happen, right? Like when you come into the game and you start blowing up, it's always the same fucking flock of vultures hovering around our up and coming guys, you know what I mean? And they're there, you know, they're there, yeah, of course they're there to support the homie, but there's always a secret agenda, there's always a hidden agenda to a lot of people's moves, you know what I'm saying? And I've been a witness to that, you know what I'm saying? I've seen it. And when you're up, everybody's with you. And when you're down, they're nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted him to understand that I wasn't here to exploit his light. You know, I wasn't here to exploit it. I wanted to be a fan of what he's doing. I wanted to sit back and watch, dog. You know what I mean? And support it like a motherfucker should. You know what I'm saying? So, You know, we did that for a minute, and then, you know, when they were at Hoodstocks, you know, they asked me to call in because the homies at Hoodstocks know how I feel about Lefty because I voiced it to them behind closed doors. So yeah, they wanted me to call in, and then he was like, "Man, pull the fuck up, fool. Like it's time, you know." So I was eating chocolate sundaes with my kids, dog. I had just came back from a Baskin Robbins trip, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, man. I jumped in the Porsche and I flew down there, and then you know we hung out the whole night, and we hung out for a few days after that. You know, even all week I've been with that fool because I'm gonna be with him tonight to support him on some other shit he's doing, but. You know, it's a testament, man, to loving your squad, man. Like I love this Southside shit, man. Like it's just who I am, bro. You know, I don't glorify the gang life, but I do glorify brotherhood. You know, I believe that we need each other, dog, as men, dog. Like I think that, and you can see it right in the guys that are domesticated at home. You know, that aren't allowed to even have their boys over for a beer. Or their girls are so insecure that, oh, you're hanging out with your primo, he has all the bitches, right? It's like they even their body language, the way they walk, fool, changes, you know what I'm saying? And I think that it's important to have your boys around you, man, your brothers, you know? I think it's important to for us to be each other's biggest fans, man, you know what I mean? Because women can't glorify us the way that we need to stay sharp, diligent, you know what I'm saying? A woman can glorify you to stay honorable, you know, and respect.
This episode is sponsored by Picos Tacos, located on 3410 Ontario Ranch Road, Suite 2 in the city of Ontario, California. Open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 9 p.m. Embark on a flavor-filled journey at Picos Tacos. Founded by SoCal native George Tamayo, their commitment to quality and authenticity shines through every dish. From mesquite grilled meats to house-infused flavors, their menu is a celebration of family recipe. Remember, savor the flavor at Picos Tacos, where every bite is a taste of tradition. I had the pleasure of actually going to Picos Tacos right after UrbanCon. Me and the cameraman Jackson, man, we showed up. I ordered a burrito. We got some great food. The service was amazing. The food was incredible. I highly recommend checking out Picos Tacos in the city of Ontario. Make sure you guys give them a follow. Check them out. Real delicious food. Now let's get back to the show.
What's poppin'? It's your boy Moses. The best way to support the channel is to like, comment, subscribe on every episode. Don't forget the reels on Instagram. Don't forget the shorts on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and comment on everything you see from the Lit Outlet. Also, another big major way you can support the channel is to join our Patreon. The link is down below in the description. You keep the channel alive by pledging $1 every month. You can also do $3, $5, $10, $20. But all I'm asking, if you're a Liddy and you're enjoying the content, to at least join our Patreon for $1 a month. Another way you can support the channel is to buy some merch. We got hoodies for $40 and we got t-shirts with this logo for $25. If you want to support the channel, those are the best ways. But also, if you want to just keep enjoying the content for free, you can do that too. I don't mind. So I want to say thank you to all of our liddies who are watching, liking, subscribing to all of our content here. Now let's get back to the show.
Respectful, right? And be a righteous man, you know what I mean? But to be the beast that creates societies and builds countries, no. Only another man can do that, you know what I mean? Only another man can bring that fire out of you, dog. So I enjoy it, you know what I mean? And I think that, yeah, it's been dope, for sure, for sure.
Is there a mental checklist that you go through before you decide either to diss somebody or to compete with them?
Is it justified? You know? Do I need to lie or am I lying about anything in order to win this? You know what I'm saying? My thing is always to be sure that... it's not just about like, you know, gratifying my ego, right? You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, there has to be a purpose behind that too. You know, if the purpose is only for me to feel like a tough guy, then it's not worth it, dog. It's just not, dog. You know what I'm saying? But if the reason is to show people for who they are and rip the fucking fake narrative that they're painting for people, then yeah, it's definitely worth it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's important. You know what I mean? And it's you know, I like to be you know, I like to be that you know, the best way I could describe it, dog, is like a good villain. You know what I'm saying? Like I come off like a villain when I have to, but people understand that there is a reason for it. You know, I'm not just talking out of my ass. You know,
you like Thanos.
Like Thanos, yeah, man. It's a necessary evil, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's a necessary evil, you know, to add balance. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it feels good. I'm in a very privileged and luxury. How you say it? Like it's a luxury to be in my position. You know, mm-hmm. Like I'm a G dog and you know, and a OG to some. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still capable and I've kept my innocence enough to still be adventurous, you know, and be foolish with my goals. And I mean foolish to the point where it's like I don't let people's opinions or perceptions of how I should be guide me. You know what I'm saying? I'm foolish to the point where it's like, man, I'm gonna have fun with this shit, dog, and fuck what anybody has to say. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean when I say foolish, you know?
As you watch your son get bigger, does a part of you or your view on life change? Have you eased up or adapted to the lessons you try to teach him because of today's climate? Are you afraid of raising a man for a world that no longer exists?
Well, he's a big part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, because I know that his generation, if this present generation glorifies rappers the way they do, imagine his. You know what I'm saying? Like the glorification of celebrities and you know, music artists is just growing bigger and bigger, right? So, you know, I want to leave a blueprint for the next me, per se. You know what I mean? So that his generation has some, because I know who I looked at. You know what I mean? I know that there was artists that did give me a goal and a blueprint of the kind of artist that I wanted to be. But it is hard though, right? Because my little son, like, he wants to be me, dog. Like when he's walking around the pad, he's lifting up his shirt to show his stomach tattoo that he doesn't have. Any blue rag, whether it's a napkin or anything, he's waving it around. Like we're at the park, dog, and he has a blue rag in his hand, you know? And it does play with my heart, right? Because you don't want to guide your kids in that path, right? But like my wife, she'll be the first one to check me. She'll be like, chill.
That's too much.
Like you're thinking too deep into it, you know? Like Vicente did that, my oldest son, the one that's 10, you know? Like, remember, that fool's throwing up gangster, and look at him now. He's a good kid in school. He's committed to his sports. Yes, he's curious about the life, but you're giving him an outlook on it that's successful. So he's not looking up to fools slamming, per se, you know? He's never done time with me in prison like my oldest daughter did, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, my son, you know, on the drive home, he was like, I want to be a union electrician when I'm older. You know, those are conversations that me and him have had. You know what I mean? Like as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to do it. So by the age I'm 23, I'm balling. I would have never had that thought of his age. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? But is it hard on my heart? Yes, dog. It is. Trust me. Like, because, you know, I have homeboys that died at 15 that are supposed to be with me here now, you know? I have homeboys that died at 17, you know what I mean? Even before I got into the hood, one of my older homies, rest in peace, Smiley, he died at 13. They stabbed him to death in front of a liquor store, and I remember when that happened, and I remember the impact that had in my hood, you know? So, fuck yeah, it's you know, there's times where I want to cry silently, you know? Because I'm not sure, like, fuck, is he gonna snap out of it? But then I remind myself, like, don't trip, fool. You're gonna make it to where you're gonna move them away from all this shit, because that's the plan. You know, and in one of my songs, I also say, you gotta know when they don't want to see you win no more. You know what I mean? This is how it's supposed to be. You count your wins and move on. So I know that I'm capable of counting my wins and moving to some different and having a different impact in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can only let my nuts hang for so long, dog. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying every moment of it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's hard, dog, but I know I'm doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm doing the right thing, and I know I'm heading in the right direction. So I just got to keep poised, you know?
You know, as a man, the head of the household, it's always, your main focus is always on the micro, right? Your household, your city, your county, the part of the state you live in.
Yeah.
But we live in a much bigger nation, right? With the presidential election coming up and how things can affect us, are you more focused on like local elections, state elections, the presidency? Like, how much are you paying attention to politics on this side instead of the politics you're used to dealing with on the daily?
Well, for right now, I'm like super focused on Trump winning. Like, we need to go red, fool. The country needs to go red, you know? California is a fucking shithole, dog. You know what I mean? This liberal mentality, this 10% that is wealthier than the rest of the state and that's controlling our state, you know what I'm saying, is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I believe that there is an agenda in California. It's a liberal agenda to make this almost like, the best way I could describe it, dog, they want to turn us into Sodom and Gomorrah, like it is in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? No rules on sexual perversion. There's no restrictions on how you want to express your sexuality. You know, we want to remove the male masculinity out of our society. We want to remove the middle class, because that's where the masculine blue collar man thrives. You know what I'm saying? That's where the family structure thrives, right? It's in the blue collar middle class community, right? So they're trying to eliminate so many virtues out of our society right now in California. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to charge you an annual registration fee for weapons right now. That's fucking ridiculous. That only rich people will be able to pay yearly to keep your guns registered. You know, they've been trying to push these transgender books into our schools. You know what I'm saying? To transition kids into that type of shit. It's the homelessness. Like, come on, dog. We're trying to encourage people to be homeless now. Like, it isn't bad enough that we encourage people to fucking collect welfare and live in these fucking subsidized housing communities, dog. When does the free ride end, fool? And you got to think about it. Who's paying for it? The middle class, the working class, right? So the rich isn't paying for it. They're forcing us to pay for it, and they're drowning us, dog, and they're demoralizing men. If you pull up to a job site right now, the men are demoralized, fool, because they can't keep up no matter what raises they get, how hard they're working. Before, if you got a union job, you were like, fuck, I'm set. Even the guys that have the best jobs now are struggling. You know what I mean? The confidence is low. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it starts at the top, though. You feel what I'm saying? As of right now. Like, we can't allow this to keep going on, and we need Trump in office, dog, because if you think that Biden is the type of person that has a moral compass, you're wrong. You know, like, I think that he has so much dirt on him that the powers that be are just using him as a puppet with the threats of burying him alive. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's done so much dirt politically because only they know what goes on behind them closed doors. But just by his son, the way that he's moving and carrying himself, like, you could tell there's a lot of holes in their stories, man. And there's a lot of shit going on behind closed doors that we don't know about. But yeah, we need to get a president that relates more to us. And I'm not saying Trump was ever in the middle class, you know, but one thing that I do know is that he wasn't groomed to be a politician, and that to me is big. You know what I'm saying? Biden was, you know what I mean? And if you go back to Biden, he was more racist than Trump has ever been. You know what I mean? So let's keep it a buck, and you got to think about yourself. Like, I'm seeing these women on The View, like Whoopi Goldberg and these other fucking pack of hyenas on that bitch, like constantly push this woman agenda and this emotional agenda of how you run a nation, dog. It will the most powerful nation in the world will never be run by emotion. We need to run this country on facts, what works, dog, not theories. You know what I'm saying? And not weakness, dog. Because I think that emotions are weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? Like people, you see these fucking woke ass college students, dog, protesting against. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, there is a boiling pot of creating terrorists, dog. Like, you can look into their schools, what they're educating the children, dog. Yeah, children are dying. It's sad as fuck, right? Like, it's horrible, right? Like, who the fuck wants that? But those same children, they're trained to commit suicide acts later in the name of their religion. They're schooling those kids from the age of 5. Did you know that they're teaching them how to be soldiers at the age of 10 already? Like, you know the way that we have, let's say, a Cinco de Mayo parade down here, right? And you see the kids doing their shit. They have them with missile launchers, fool, and fully dressed like terrorists. But people don't want to hear that shit, dog. You know? People just want something to believe in, dog, because if people don't have something to believe in, they don't have no purpose. People just need to be careful where they're searching for that purpose at. You know what I mean? Like, and I know I'm probably gonna get a shitload of fucking because I'm speaking on the war, but hey, it's a war that's happening right now, and Israel needs to be protected. You know, at the end of the day, that's where Moses led his people, dog. You know what I'm saying? And that's those are God people, that, you know, and we need to protect them for a reason, dog, because it's written. I don't know if you know the Bible, but if we lose Israel, we lose it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna lose everything, dog. And you know, I have my faith, so I believe in it. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm at with all that. You know what I'm saying? But it is very important right now for us to vote. You know?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, especially the news, Univision or Fox, whatever it is, like, you know, Latinos have historically always voted Democrat, right?
Yeah.
And what Trump says and what he says and stuff like that, it's funny. I think he's charismatic. It's cool, but the thing that kind of like draws us back is the border crisis thing, right?
Yeah.
Things he says like, I'm gonna send everybody back and this and that, protect the border.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the border?
Well, I think that, okay, first of all, there's a lot of bad things, right? Like I said in another podcast, like you don't open your front door to the whole block. Think about the families that did do that in the hood. You know what I mean? Their daughters got fucked by the wrong dudes. Husbands lost their wives. The men became wanderers of the streets too. You know what I'm saying? So if you're seeing at it metaphorically, right? We can't leave our borders open. Most of these guys that are coming across the border ain't our people to begin with. They're coming from fucking Venezuela. They're coming from China. They're coming from the Middle East. When these guys are being arrested, you see them in military stands. You know what I'm saying? These are guys that have been trained to fucking cross the harshest of fucking conditions, dog. That's one aspect of it. So I believe that our next terrorist attack will be from within because of that. But secondly, you got to ask yourself, why are they opening the gates like they never have before? You got to understand, fool, there's 16 states in our country that don't screen you to vote. Even local, when we were, the recent election that we just had, they weren't asking you for ID. You know, my brother-in-law was telling them, why the fuck aren't you IDing me? Why the fuck aren't you making sure that I'm even a citizen? How are we letting foreigners vote for our fucking representation and politically? You know what I'm saying? That's when you know, like, they're trying to rig the fucking, the next election, dog. They're letting in these people that they know will vote for them. Come on, they're going to vote for Trump? Like, they give a fuck? They're just glad to be over here, dog. So there's so many things to be said about that, dog. So now, like I said, when you look in hindsight and you're thinking like, fuck, Trump did say protect the border for a fucking reason. You know what I mean? Like, no country is allowing motherfuckers just to come in like that. Dog, I believe that they let in 6 million. That's fucking ridiculous, bro.
I think like the propaganda thing to me, like I fell for the whole build a wall thing. Like, man, fuck this fool, build a wall. You mean our people, our Mexican people, this and that. Like I fell for the propaganda.
Yeah, of course you did.
As far as like the mental warfare they're playing through the internet, through the lines and stuff like that. But it still kind of feels a little bit unnatural to vote Republican. Like I'm independent and I fuck with whoever.
Well, you gotta stop thinking about it that way. See, what you're doing is allowing people to put you in a box to where you're picking sides. No, you gotta pick the facts and what's working for you.
Yeah, like me, I'm no longer like, I've never been a Democrat, but I no longer see it as Democratic and Republican. I'm independent and I'm voting for whoever is gonna benefit me from now on. You know what I mean?
So Easter, they changed it to a gender celebration instead of Christ.
Transgender.
That's what you think our president should be doing?
Nah, that's
what in the fuck kind of shit is that? How does that even, dog, come on, man. Like, it's ugly, bro. Like, the signs are there, homie. The signs are there. You're going to tell me you're going to watch your son sit in a room all day on the computer, come out with his nails painted, fucking talking demonic shit, and you're not going to start to worry? To me, that's what's happening before our eyes on TV. Our representation politically and the way that the agendas that they're pushing. That small percentage, is that important? Come on, homie. What's the percentage of these transgender people and LGBTQ, dog? It's not that big, dog.
It's probably less than 1%.
But you got to remember, they control the media, though. In the media, their percentage is high. That's true. You know what I'm saying? But why? You got to ask yourself, why are they pushing that? Why isn't the agenda families, dog? Why aren't we pushing more on keeping family structures and bonds together, dog? In the Bible, it says, dog, the devil doesn't want to see us have families, fool. Because he knows that's where love is, and love is God, fool. Our family structure is trying to be torn apart in front of us, dog. Look at the numbers when single women raise boys. If you look at most of these rappers, or not even rappers, but just influencers and youth that's on social media right now, that's all emo, that is doing this weird ass shit, shooting up schools and all these shit, these motherfuckers, dog, they're coming from families where the men aren't allowed to have a voice. You know what I mean? Or they're coming from broken homes. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, dog, look, you're empowering women to become, how do they say it? Like independent women. Okay, so what happens when a woman becomes independent in that nature, fool? She no longer gives a fuck about her kids. She doesn't prioritize her children. You know what she's prioritizing? Her ambition, her ego. She's feeding her ego to combat with a man and look at a man in the same level, dog, perspective, dog. Women are meant to do that, homie. Women are meant to have that kind of selfishness. If our mothers had that selfishness, would we be the men that we are? Right? Like our women, our mothers, if they did work, it was out of necessity. Right? And we knew that because they communicated to us. They didn't do it to leave us with a fucking expensive nanny to go chase fucking their ambition and build their ego and tell themselves that they don't need a man, dog. There was a different purpose. There was a different compass for that shit. So now you see what the kind of men that are being developed, homie. Think about fucking that. You know, man, I'm not gonna talk about him. But yeah, think about the men that we're seeing. Think about the fools that diss me on that track. You think those dudes have strong men in their families, in their household? You think they have men, fathers, fool? They don't, homie. I don't even know their lives. But I'll bet racks that they don't. You know, I don't know their personal life, but that's what happens when young boys are raised by emotional women. And women with resentment towards men that broke their heart. Because those women couldn't keep their legs long enough to find out if a man had virtues and integrity. See, women don't understand, dog, that by opening your legs, dog, you're letting in demons, homie. You're not letting in real men. You're not letting in men with virtues, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're letting in demons into your body, eh? And what do you become? You know, women don't have the ability to just let anybody into their lives. They chronicleize their heartbreak, you know? They document that shit in their soul and spirit, dog. So you have these independent women either collecting government checks and being rewarded for not knowing how to keep a man, or these women that are seeking so much independence to where they think now that they're as strong as men and they can see eye to eye with a man professionally. You know what I'm saying? And now they're trying to, come on, man, it's crazy. But even women are being attacked. Real women, right? Real women are being attacked. Like, they got to share bathroom with weirdos, creeps. So there is, where does it make sense, dog? You know what I'm saying? It's just fucking chaos, homie. So that's what I'm voting for. You know what I'm saying? For just fucking common sense and life to be normal again. Fucking gas went up for spring break. You don't think that's manipulated? The fuck out of here. They're making it rain in Orange County. They passed the bill and they've been doing it. That's just been proven to be bad for environment, but they don't give a fuck.
Cloud seeding.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's rough, dog, being out here, but I'll be damned if my little girl shares a bathroom with a motherfucker. That's the day you probably see me go to jail again.
So you got a nice watch on.
Yeah.
Why was it important to create a timepiece for people?
Because look, dog, I believe that a watch, it's a huge symbolism of who you are, right? I believe that a man with a watch has somewhere to go, you know? Has a purpose, right? Like it's for me, I can't be without a watch. You know what I'm saying? Because I always have somewhere to go. I always have direction, you know? So I think that in our culture, like, it was about time that somebody that can relate created a product of good quality, of good representation, and made by us for us. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I have my logo in it for my supporters that have been supporting my movement because they know what I represent. You know what I'm saying? They know that I represent virtues. They know that I represent integrity. You know, principles and the hard work that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? And luckily for me, I was approached by these guys that follow my music and have been a part of my movement from a distance, right? And dog, I took that as a huge compliment. Like, bro, would you collaborate with us? And I was like, hell yeah. And I thought that it's important because all we do is copy, you know? All the homies will do is drop merch. Oh, everybody's dropping merch, let's do it. Or everybody's doing this and that. So I want it to be different and maybe spark the next idea for the next person or be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck buying watches from foreigners, these European motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? That ain't never looked you in the eye and don't know what a day at a hard 9 to 5 is, or don't know what a day out there on the corner vending is like. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I wanted to put a face behind what we're wearing, dog, and they're not cheap.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
How much are they?
They're not cheap. Mine is a couple grand, you know, but the one that we're selling right now is $300. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a all-purpose watch, you know. But they're handcrafted.
Who's the ideal customer? Like, who is that for?
This is for people that like to carry their like somebody that takes pride, dog, and like the work that they put in, you know what I'm saying, and who they're spending it with. You know what I mean? Where they're keeping their sacrifice and their hard-earned money in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that believe in and their peers. You know what I'm saying? And like, I support every small business. You know more than anybody. you know, you hit me up and I was here. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's important, dog, to like be each other's biggest fans. You know what I mean? So this is for people that believe in motherfuckers that look like them, that ain't looking for foreigners to glorify and ain't afraid to buy from their guy. Because a lot of us with our tribalism, that's the biggest thing. Ese güey se cree la gran verga, pinche reloj chafa. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I'm saying? So you know, if you're wearing my shit, that means that you're confident, man.
Yeah.
And you ain't worried about that. You see the big picture, you know, and that's what we need more of.
Hey, I appreciate you. This is the third time you put up to the podcast. I appreciate it. And like, I'm not sure if you know, but like, from your first interview, my channel has like, the exponential growth has been crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you really set me on this path recently. I think it's been a year by now, maybe a little bit more. But you really set me on this path. And whenever your name gets brought up, I always say the same thing. Like, super solid individual, really did a lot for me in my venture in this podcast.
Yeah,
you
man.
know what I mean? So I want to say on camera just again, like, I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, my dog.
And then pouring into me, because I feel like sometimes like I make decisions based on like, what will Bozo say? I make decisions.
I feel it.
Damn, like, is this like, you know, like, I kind of like, I was a little bit lost before I met you, you know what I mean? As far as like, where am I taking this, you know? So like, I appreciate you pouring into the podcast and to people listening, but also pouring into me, like your virtues and your work ethic and everything like that. Like, I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. That's what we're here for.
But yeah, man, thanks for pulling up. I know you got things to do, other things to move on. So appreciate it. If you guys still watching, pull up, turn up, stay lit, like the video, share, and all that shit.
Southside Logo out now.